Ever felt like there's a tiny bit, but really a knowing voice inside your head that just won't shut up? It whispers doubts, points out every little flaw, and basically makes you feel like you are not good enough? Yeah, me too. For years, I struggled with my own inner critic. It was a constant battle, and honestly, it felt like I was losing most of the time. I'd avoid challenges, second guess my decisions, and just generally shrink back from opportunities because of what that voice was telling me. Sounds familiar? Welcome back to Empowerment Junction Podcast, the podcast where we dive into personal growth, mindset shifts, and strategies to help you create a truly fulfilling life. I'm your host, Olivia Bassi, and today we are tackling something that affects every single one of us. That nagging, persistent inner critic. You know, the one, the voice that whispers or sometimes shouts that we are just not good enough. Well, I'm here to tell you something. You are enough. And today, we're going to explore exactly how to silence that negative voice and replace it with empowering truths. I will be sharing practical tools and strategies that have worked for me. Now, before we dive in, can we talk about the month of February for a second? It's a month of new beginnings, the month of love, and most importantly, it's my birthday month. Yep, that's right. February babies unite. So if you're a fellow February born soul, a huge happy birthday to you. May this year be filled with joy, breakthroughs, and endless possibilities. I'm celebrating right along with you. And obviously, after my birthday, it's Valentine's Day for those who believe in Valentine's. Whatever love's got for you, I wish you all the best in that department. And love comes in many shapes and forms. So, whatever you've got, embrace it, because love really is the greatest power that we have as human beings. So, my love to you all out there. And because I really want to give you all the tools you need to tackle that inner critic, I've got a couple of extra goodies for you. First off, head over to my YouTube channel for bite-sized motivational clips and behind-the-scene context. The link is in the show notes. And second, I've also put together a jam-packed article with even more insights and resources to support you on your journey. You'll find that link in the show notes as well. So make sure you check out those out. Now, let's get into silencing that inner critic, shall we? So I'll start off by saying, we often appear strong, but the truth is, words, whether from others or ourselves, can have a profound impact. Now, they can leave lasting emotional scars that are difficult to heal. And this is where the inner critic comes into play. What is the inner critic? According to Collins Dictionary, a critic is someone or a person who expresses disapproval of somebody or something and talks about their faults. We can extend this definition to the inner critic as the internalized voice within us that expresses disapproval, judges our worth, and focuses on perceived faults and shortcomings. It's like having a harsh and unforgiving commentator inside our heads. The inner critic often whispers or shouts things like, I'm not good enough. I'm not as smart or talented or successful as others. I always mess up. And my favorite, not my favorite, my least favorite, should I say. Why do bad things always happen to me? So let's look at the roots of the inner critic. While we might wish it was simply a matter of real power, the inner critic isn't something that we can just switch off. Research suggests it often stems from a combination of factors. Number one, early childhood experiences. Experiences of criticism, judgment, or conditional love in childhood can contribute to the development of a harsh inner critic. If we were frequently told we weren't good enough, this message can become internalized. And I'll attach some of the books and some of the childhood trauma people who've gone and done the research as part of the links. Now, the second area or the second contributing factor is social comparison. And this is very common now, particularly with social media. Now, we constantly compare ourselves to others, especially in today's hyper-connected world. This can fuel feelings of inadequacy and feed the inner critic. And this is very much a proven research from the theory of social comparison processes. And the next factor is the fear of failure or rejection. Now, the inner critic often tries to protect us from these painful experiences by preemptively criticizing us. It's a misguided attempt at self-preservation. So very quickly, taking control is one of the best ways, and this is the good news, is that we can learn to manage our inner critic. Now, here's some powerful first step that I've used and I feel really work. Action step, identify your inner critic stories. Very important. If you can give it a name, even better. First thing, number one, journaling. Take some time to write down the most common criticisms your inner voice throws at you. Be specific. What situations trigger these thoughts? Is it because someone said it, or is it because sometimes they just come back as a reminder? Number two, examine the evidence. And this is where it comes to play. For each criticism, ask yourself, is this actually true? What evidence supports this claim? What evidence contradicts it? Often, you'll find the evidence for the criticism is weak or non-existent. Third action step, challenge the critic. Reframe the negative thought into a more balanced and compassionate one. For example, instead of, I always mess up, try, I made a mistake, but I can learn from it. Now, one of the most common ones is when you feel like your mind is a battlefield. Or actually, let me rephrase this. Ever felt like your mind is a battlefield? Well, we are wired for connection, yet those nagging, painful words, the ones whispered by others, or even worse, the ones we tell ourselves, can send us spiraling into isolation. It's a vicious cycle. Toxic thoughts breed self-doubt, and self-doubt reinforces the toxic thoughts. It's like being trapped in a mental echo chamber. Now, Dr. Caroline Leaf, a brilliant cognitive neuroscientist, hits the nail on the head. She states the vast majority of illnesses that plague us today are a direct result of a toxic thought life. Think about that for a moment. It's not just our feelings that get bruised by negative thinking. It's our entire well-being, our bodies, our energy levels, our very health can suffer. Now, this isn't just some woo-woo self-help talk. It's science. It's been proven. So how do we break free from this mental prison? How do we silence the inner critic and reclaim our peace of mind? It's not quick. And it's not a quick fix, no. But I want to share with you some powerful strategies that I hope can help you start on the path to healing. And as I've said, and I'll repeat again, I've used these strategies and they work immensely. Number one, ditch the busyness, which is escape root. We've all been there. The moment those uncomfortable thoughts start creeping in, we grab our phones, turn up the music, or suddenly find a million things that absolutely must be done right now. If this is you, put your hands up. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. Distractions feel good in the short term, but it's like putting a band-aid on a broken bone. It doesn't heal the underlying issue. True healing requires us to face our thoughts, not run from them. So I suggest you try this. Carve out small pockets of quiet time, even just 5 minutes a day, to simply be with yourself, nobody else, just yourself. It might feel awkward at first, but it gets easier. Invite positive, truthful thoughts into that space. It's like clearing out the mental clutter and letting some fresh air in. Second strategy, lean towards people, not away. Now, we are not meant to go it alone. Human connection is essential for our well-being. When we are struggling with toxic thoughts, our instinct might be to withdraw, to isolate ourselves. But that's the opposite of what we need. Reach out to those wise, loving people in your life. Reach out to those who really uplift and support you, not drag you down. Now, I'll say this. Vulnerability can be very scary, yes, but it's also incredibly powerful. Sharing your struggles with someone you trust can bring perspective and healing. Remember, relationships take work, but they are so worth the investment with the right type of relationship. Last one, the last strategy today, flip the script with gratitude. And I'm saying this from a place of grace. I've already spoken about gratitude. Gratitude was a theme, in a way, in our season 1. But we're still back at it. Our past experiences, especially the painful ones, can leave deep scars. I've been there many times where you look back and you think, so-and-so said this about me, so-and-so said this, and no, that's all baggage. That's baggage that does not belong to us. We need to leave it. Drop that baggage very quickly. Now, it's easy to get stuck in these negative narratives, replaying them over and over in our minds. But we have a choice. Yes, you have a choice. You have a choice. We can choose to dwell on the darkness, or we can choose to look for the light. Now, think of it like this. Even in the midst of a storm, there are glimpses of sunshine. Practice shifting your focus to gratitude. What are you thankful for? It could be something big or small, whatever the case. We can do the same. It's about intentionally choosing to focus on the good, even when it's hard. So, are you ready to take your thought life to the next level? Now, here are some powerful practical tools you can use right now. Start reframing these pesky negative thoughts. Number 1, burst out of your bubble. Sometimes a change of scenery is all it takes to shift our perspective. When you're feeling stuck in a rut, try shaking things up. This could be anything from traveling to a new city. Even a short day trip can work wonders. To striking up a conversation with someone with a different or from a different background. Find a new hobby, volunteer in your community. I think I've already talked about the power of volunteering. Or simply rediscover the joy in small things, a walk in nature, cuddling with your pet, listening to your favorite music. Sometimes the biggest shifts happen when we step outside our comfort zones. Number 2, the should I shift. Now that inner critic loves to throw shoulds at us. For example, I should be more outgoing. I should be more successful. I should be thinner, richer, more, whatever it is, X, Y, and Z. Insert whatever it is going on at that time. But what if we flipped that script? And this is where you have to be very intentional. When you flip the script, this is what it sounds like. I should, try asking yourself, should I really? Why do I think that? I should be more outgoing becomes, should I really be more outgoing? Why do I feel pressure to be that way? Is it coming from me or somebody else? Now, this simple question can help you uncover the source of those self-imposed pressures and decide whether they actually align with your values and your goals. And you might be surprised at what you discover. Please feel free to write to me. Feel free to comment and share with us. I'd love to hear how it's going. Third one, connect the dots to your good story. Now, your inner critic is like a broken record, playing the same negative tunes over and over and over. Let me put it this way. Not to reveal too much about my age, but I'm over 40. If I picked a tune, there's certain tunes that still resonate with me and I can get up and I can dance and I'm still quite happy listening to that tune. But there's other tunes, there's other types of music that really when I listen to, I'm just like, oh, it's so boring. It reminds me, it invokes a negative feeling in me. It's like that. So you've got to, and I switch off very quickly because it does something to me. So you've got to go with that sort of mentality where you pick something that perhaps is going to uplift you, something that's going to motivate you, encourage you. So it's the same way when I talk about connecting the dots to your good stories. Because you have the power to change the channel. The next time a negative thought pops up, interrupt it by consciously recalling a positive memory, a past success, or something you're grateful for. Feeling anxious about a presentation at work? Remember that time you needed or you nailed a similar presentation and received some raving reviews. Struggling in a relationship? Think back to a moment of joy and connection with that person. It's like building a mental bridge from the negative to the positive. Now, I want to share this verse because I think it's important. Bible verses are affirmations. They are powerful because they are written by the divine. They are written by God. So, Proverbs 17:28 wisely reminds us, even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he is deemed intelligent. Now, sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply refuse to engage with the lies our inner critic whispers. So try that. So let's wrap up very, very quickly and recap the key takeaways. Number 1, identify and challenge those negative thought patterns. 2, be intentional about escaping the busyness trap and creating space for quiet reflection. 3, seek out support, relationships that uplift you, and wise counsel. 4, practice reframing your thoughts through gratitude and perspective shifts. And for my bonus today, I would absolutely urge you to give your inner critic, to name it a name. Whatever, it could be Back, it could be Sam, whatever. Name it a name so that when Back comes in telling you you're not good enough, you've got to tell Back, not today, not today. Today, Back, I'm good enough. If you think I'm not good enough, that's you, Back, that's not me. Give it a name. You'll see how much it works wonders. So, remember your thoughts are powerful, but you are more powerful than your thoughts. The same voice that whispers, you are not good enough, can be trained to shout, I am worthy, I am capable, I am loved, I am blessed and highly favored. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one tool or strategy from this episode that you're going to try this week? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's create a community of support and encouragement. And before I go, if this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend who could use a little boost. Don't forget to follow Empowerment Junction on Instagram. I'm very new to Instagram, and if I'm honest, I'm struggling with it, but I've decided to persevere with it. But there goes. I'm also on Facebook, I'm learning the ropes very slowly. I'm on YouTube, as I've told you, and TikTok for more inspiring contents. You can also find more in-depth resources and articles on my YouTube channel and website. The link is in the description. Until next time, remember, you hold the pen that writes the chapters in your life. Make your story a brilliant one. Now have a blessed week and keep empowering yourself and those around you. Much love. Bye for now.